Ladies and gents, welcome to UX, and this interview broke the internet, but on asmongold clips channel, I guess. Yeah, I wanted to watch this because people have told me that asmongold is more left wing than people realize, and he's a Bernie guy. This is Bernie interview. Bernie Sanders rips DC Democratic Party corruption, I guess. Look, Bernie is one of those guys who a lot of people liked in 2016. At a level, people were pissed off. Like, how can Hillary can win that ticket? And at the level that the same Democrat people kind of even voted for Trump, even though not the majority of it, because Trump didn't win by majority vote. Or a lot of Democratic people voted for Trump or like somebody else, like other people who are also running, because screw it, what was it, Jill something and that other tiger guy, right? What was his name? Who has a tiger sanctuary and shit like that. So people voted for them just so they didn't want to vote for Hillary. And many issues with Hillary, but one of those was like, how can they railroad Bernie? I think that was the issue. And I know Bernie seems like a very too left sometimes to people, socialist even. But when you really hear about how he's trying to approach things, he's not socialist, right? He's trying to implement things like certain like healthcare and the basic safety net that every modern country should have. A lot of Scandinavian countries already have. It's weird that America doesn't have with $30 trillion economy. Like you can figure this shit out. And Bernie was one of those people like, yeah, let's figure it out, right? Because people are afraid of calling 911. You can't have that. That's just ridiculous. Regardless of how much nuance and detail you want to go in, if the base value is like, oh, people are afraid of calling 911 because they'll be bankrupted just by calling it, and they'll rather die than call 911. Yeah, Bernie was right? At least you have to accept that, right? You don't like socialism. Yeah, obviously that there is an issue with that. But Bernie wasn't point blank socialist. It was just a tag people gave him. Oh, Bernie's a socialist. So that's it. Eliminate him, I guess. Yeah, that wasn't the case. So it's going to be interesting how this clip's going to be, how asmongold's going to be. So let's watch this one.
Yeah, here we go.
I have to ask this. I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt you. We have a question we want to ask about what happened to you in 2016 with this Bernie Bros movement. Your followers are seeing they have a racism problem, a misogyny problem. Do you think that's a super PAC thing behind that?
That was the Democratic establishment. That was the...
Finally, so old that you don't give a fuck and you...
Not that you're old. I think he knows like there is no point now. He's not going to be doing anything now. He's at the level, is like he knows like he's not going to get ticket now. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't have to be loyal to his party, which screwed him, I think.
Just say it. Fucking finally.
That was just, they were sitting there. We had a lot of young people. We had people of color. And, they create this kind of myth with the help of the corporate media and all that stuff.
It's kind of interesting to that.
Isn't it crazy how he's basically saying the same shit about fake news? He is saying the same exact fucking shit.
Note is during this election, the podcast.
Oh, people already know that it's fake news, right? Even before Trump said it, people knew this. Like biased people knew it. I don't think people realize how much of bias that is. And if you're in a bubble, like a CNN bubble, you would know that. The same thing applies to Fox bubble. A lot of shit that happened with Trump and questionable thing Trump did, every single media, including the international media, was covering it. Only Fox wasn't. Like, that is kind of on the nose. Yeah, there have been times where Fox just point blank, oh, Trump is not right about this. But CNN also sometimes has done that. There are people just like, oh, this is for Democratic Party, this is just wrong type of shit, right? So who knows whose bubble is more stronger and more blatantly liar. I guess Fox blatantly lies, while CNN lies in a way that it just like masks things up. But it's kind of the same effect.
Space, which the Democrats largely avoided, they feel had some influence in the election, and they started to label us the podcast bros and said that we were sexist and we were racist and bigoted. It's almost like it's the exact same strategy to get you out of there.
Yeah, that's what the liberal elite China does.
He's actually just saying it. Oh my God.
And, liberal Democrats talk about that all the time. And then you get to what we call identity politics.
Yeah.
That you're black, you're wonderful, you're tremendous, you're gay, you're the great.
Identity politics, that thing. Bernie said it. I love this shit. How many people are going to be pissed off because of this interview? Like, I hope he addresses in this video, like how many people got pissed off in Twitter and shit. I don't touch Twitter that much, so I don't know, but this is so insane. And yeah, Democratic Party does have that issue, right? East. Weaponizing East. Even Asmongold, who is just like fascist. That what is that? What is that other idiot who is rival? Hassan, right? That's his name. He just point blank claims it like, oh, I'm against Trump, so apparently I'm left wing. Like, no, you're pro-terrorist. You're not even left wing. You're worse than that. But fine, you go into that category, right? It's just like, oh, Asmon is this east, that east, right? Like people just like, oh, this guy's a fascist, this guy's a Hitler. Like that's it. Point blank. No nuance. It's either this or this. Like that's how binary thinking you have. No nuance, right? They're just fascist because they don't agree with you. Really?
Greatest human being on earth.
Yeah.
And rather than say, what do you stand for?
Exactly.
Okay, that's fine. Who cares?
Yeah.
But what do you?
See, you guys see why I used to like this guy a lot? This is why they had to shut him down.
Is every gay person brilliant and wonderful?
Yeah. That's the thing. Finally, Bernie said it, right? I don't understand this stigma of the world. If you're looked at a minority, an extreme minority, you need to be celebrated as you're the basically gods of the Olympias or something to correct it. Like, how does that work, right? Oh, representation. Okay, there are 0.001% of population, right? That's how small that group is, and yet they have to be in every single movie, in every single game. Isn't that unfair to 99.999% that you're screwing up? If the majority of people who's going to consume the media is 99.99%, isn't like representation should cover that? Like, okay, some places with a proper context and proper story has this certain group, but not all of them, because it doesn't make sense. It's unrealistic because most people are not that. Isn't that how it's supposed to be? No. Let's use them as they are basically the best of the best. They can do no wrong. They are the gods and shove everybody's face. And anybody who disagrees with this is anti-progressive and fascist. What are you, a fucking moron? Is that how stupid you are? Come on.
Full and great? No, of course not. Everybody's a human being.
We talk a lot about the Republicans being autocrats and oligarchs and taking over democracy, but from the Democrat perspective, and I'm a lifelong Democrat.
Yeah, and this is also one of those Me Too thing, right? I don't want to say too much, where like even if you're women, even in the Me Too thing, right? Like no woman can lie. Who the like Bill Burr said, what are you flying above us? Like you're just better than all of us? Yeah, you can lie. What you talking about? And enough cases came out. Even one of the WWE guy who's I think at the time I was in WWE, Enzio, I don't know, something like that. Right? It came out after a long time like she was a mental, right? And she just lied about him. What happened? In the end, he still got fired, didn't get rehired, and he just got screwed completely. WWE's excuse, that doesn't matter if you were guilty or not. You didn't tell us in advance, and that's the fault. That's it. Same thing as YouTube. YouTube nowadays uses. It doesn't matter if you're wrong or right. Our advertiser people don't like this, so you getting demonetized. That's it.
I felt like the Democratic Party completely removed the democratic process from its constituents. And I think they need to have some accountability of that.
No argument here.
I donated for you.
No argument here, yeah.
I mean, I wanted you to, like, 2016, I was like, this is going to happen. This guy's going to do it. And it felt like they stole it from me. And I'll be honest, it broke my...
Look at the face. I love it. You're like, oh yeah, 2016. I'm having flashbacks right now. Walking around that party thinking, oh, this is my time, and they finally railroaded me because they want to have a first female president and ignoring all the problems with it because fuck it, that's how it works, right?
Heart when you supported him.
Fucking based, absolutely fucking based, right to his
You
face.
supported it.
He should have burned the whole thing to the ground.
Look, but you have, in the world that I live in, you got a choice.
Yep.
And I mean, a lot of people, including my wife, agree with you. But you're down to a choice. Is it going to be Hillary Clinton or is it going to be Donald Trump? Not a great choice.
But it ended up being him anyway, so why don't we burn it down?
Honestly, I agree. Burn the motherfucker down.
I disagree because that's not what maturity is, right? If you're in the party, right, you have to think about everybody that you're representing. You have to think about everybody that is in your party and in the future of party beyond the people who are screwing you. And if your job is ultimately burn it down, you're not thinking about 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, right? You don't have maturity vision. You can't just burn things down. This is an older institution. It's been centuries since the democratic process is working, right? You can't just burn things down because some people in your party is asshole. At the time, you have to think about, okay, what is the damage control now? Should I go with Trump with their right-wing politics, which me and my base doesn't like? Or should we go with me and my base and their party, even though I don't like any of them, even though I don't like Hillary? I guess I have to support Hillary. There is a mature thing, right? Same thing applies to You know that saying like, if you have disagreements in your house, you have to make sure nobody outside your house knows about it. Like you don't throw tantrums outside your road, and don't be, what is it, that white trash or whatever you people call it, right? You don't just say, you be a mature and handle it in your own home. You know, there's some saying like that. I don't know how to translate that in English. Something like that. Yeah, you can go outside your road, you can throw tantrums, you can show the world all your shit. But that's not mature, is it? It's some similar thing like that.
Metaphorically.
Well, because it's easy to say burning it down means that children are not going to have, food to eat, that the schools will deteriorate, people will not have health care.
I got it.
And I'm an elected official. I got to represent the people.
That's fair.
And I can't turn my back
There you
on
go.
them.
But then could we not
And
also
you can see what he's saying. I disagree with it, right? But like, I can see what he's saying.
could we not also say
You disagree with it because you're not there, right? I believe in my, if asmongold ever runs for this seat or whatever, like what Brandon Herrera is doing, his view will change. Right? You can't really process it when you're sitting there. You just like burn it down because you consume media that way. When you really think about the process, you actually meet people that you're going to represent. You get mails of people who cry to you because certain things are happening. You can't just say burn it down, man.
ostensibly there hasn't been a fair primary for the Democrats since 2008? Are they not also a threat to democracy? We often hear
Fair enough. That is
Nah, you said yes.
they're not also a threat to democracy. We often hear
fair enough. That is. I'm not going to argue with that point.
Wow. Real questions? This is the reason why people are watching podcasts more than mainstream media. It's because these guys are asking, like, if you're gonna lose anyway, why not burn the motherfucker? Exactly, these are real questions, yes. But, yeah, this is an absolute fucking gem. I love it.
When Reagan came to power, Democrats there, and I'm sure people got screwed back then as well, didn't say burn it to the ground. Like I said, this is an old institution. You can't act like that. You have to be mature about it, right? If you're going to act like, oh, if I don't get my way, I'm going to burn shit down, you weren't supposed to be in that position in the first place, right? If you're in that position, if you're talking about having that seat and having that position in the first place, you can't say burn it down. That's just not how things work, right? It's called being mature at that level. So yeah, Bernie got screwed at the big level. After hearing that, I'm sure a lot of right-wingers are going to be like, yeah, fuck it, Bernie 2020, what is it now, 2029? Right? This is the year Trump came. Or is it 2028? I don't know how is it. 2028, you talk about election, right? Not the year in coming past. So yeah, Bernie 2028, that's what people are going to say. Because fuck it. Bernie's older than Biden and Trump, right? How old is he? He's in his 80 or something. 80s, right? Damn, man. And Bernie, look at that, he's still going. Biden had the disease, now we realize. But still, like, even Trump a lot of time just like blacks out. A lot of, you can really see him sometimes when he's talking, he forgets what he was talking about. Right? Bernie's sharp, look at that. It's insane, man. Look, I know people are saying like, yeah, but I disagree with him certain social mentality, right? Socialist mentality. Think it like this, there are 20 elements. If he fits in certain elements that you like and certain elements that you really don't like, you have to ask yourself, the whatever elements that he fits in, is it good enough? If it's good enough, you have to vote for him. Because whatever elements you don't like and he might implement, future president can reverse it, maybe. Your Republican president can come and reverse it. But if you say like, oh yeah, he's talking common sense, he's better than everybody who's in left wing, he's not this East guy who just screams fascist all the time, he's not a moron, maybe we should elect him. Right? So if he does run next time, people really need to understand that like he's not going to check all the boxes. But is he checking enough boxes that's good enough? Then you have to vote for him. Because everything else, like your future president can reverse it. Your elected president. If it's right-winger, he can reverse a lot of things. Trump reversed a lot of things just now. Biden and Obama's things. So yeah, that things happen. Well, that was this interview broke the internet. I had to watch this like, is it true? Like, yeah, asmongold was a Bernie guy. How do you say like he's a right-winger fascist or whatever? And do you understand what fascist is? Do you understand the element of fascist? There is never been a people, left-winger Democrats are the people who constantly gets knocked down and all they do is cry and walk away. They have no power. How is that fascist? Anybody who's left-winger is not fascist. Not in this way. Fascist means certain level of authoritarian power. No left-winger ever has any power. Even when Obama was in seat, like he was constantly like micromanaging shit and couldn't get anything done. They're never in power. How is asmongold fascist if he's left wing, if he's Bernie supporter? Come on. Well, I'll see you next time.